Welcome, Courtney, to your Rock Your Body Spotlight. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to catch up with you.
Well, thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah. Why is it exciting for you?
Well, it's just exciting to be able to tell. I really hope I can tell other people how amazing this was and how much it really changed my life. So I hope that if one person says, "Oh, I should try this," like it's worth it, you know?
Oh, cool. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That makes me so happy. That's great. Well, why don't you just tell everybody who you are, like who you are, what you do, where you live.
So I'm Courtney, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm from Calgary, Alberta, and I'm a manager for a social services program here in our province. So
Yeah.
I'm married, and I have 2 cats.
Nice. Very good. That's important. A nuclear family.
Yeah, exactly.
So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about, obviously you did Rock Your Body in the spring, which is awesome. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about where you were at with your relationship with your body, and, like your confidence before we started working together.
So I joined Rock Your Body shortly after I was discharged from inpatient treatment for an eating disorder and over exercise and basically female athlete triad. So I had to totally redefine who I was, and I was struggling with physical changes, and I was struggling with, I think, what does it mean to be this new person, and just not sure where I was going to get my confidence from anymore. I felt like the only thing that was visible about me, the only thing that mattered about me was my body was changing, and that wasn't who I was. I'd identified as this person for so long. So I sort of was just at this point where I needed to figure out, who am I going to be now, and how am I going to be okay with that?
Wow. And so what was that like to have gone through that recovery? I mean, first of all, it's amazing that you went through the eating disorder recovery. What were you feeling like after that? I know you mentioned feeling a little bit lost, like you didn't know who you were. What was that like for you?
It was scary. I was scared that I didn't know how people were going to respond to me. And because to me, I physically could feel the changes in my body. I thought that was the only thing about me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like the only thing that there was this person who was getting bigger, and that wasn't good, you know?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And how did you want to feel? Like, what did you want for yourself?
I wanted to feel comfortable, and I wanted to not feel so aware of my body. And I wanted to, there was this part of me that I was like, I never want to go back to this disordered eating. But it was sort of a process too, around just like, how do you get over that disordered eating to just eating sort of quote unquote normally, that whole thing, and accepting your body. It's all kind of tied in together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that's, I mean, that must have been really, like you said, just lost, I think.
You're lost. And I'm 40 years old and, hadn't done eating disorder treatment for 15, 20 years, right? So it's like, holy cow, it's this whole new person. And again, having identified as this competitive runner and then not being able to do that anymore was just like, who am I?
Yeah.
What's important?
Yeah. Yes. So much changes, right? I think that's something that's really been, like prominent that I've noticed is just like our interests change, our values change, what's important to us changes. And it's, it's why it is so scary, because it's like this unknown, and it's like, who is this person?
Exactly. And are people going to like me if I'm a totally different person?
Yeah. Yeah. So what made you feel ready to change? Because it's really hard to, to completely leave that disordered frame of mind behind, like to not go back to that, to say like, you know what, this is a new path, like I'm going this way. What made you decide to change?
So there's like what made me decide to go into inpatient is my husband said to me one day, he's like, I don't even feel like we're married. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I don't want to lose the one person in my life that I love.
Wow.
So that's why I went into inpatient. And then But coming out of inpatient, like, and if anyone's ever done it, you come out with this like food plan and blah, blah, blah. And I still felt like it was so structured. And so I think honestly, it was, I can't remember whose podcast it was or what it was. It was either yours or like Kayla Prinz or someone. And I was like, that's it. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I am not living my life for food. I need to figure out what's going on. And so it was kind of like, I remember this one day and then like ditching my dietitian and calling like an intuitive eating counselor and doing that for a while. And then again, like realizing, wait, I'm focusing too much on food. And I think that's when I joined Rock Your Body, because I was like, I'm so sick of talking about food. Like it was just this kind of realization. And what I realized is through Rock Your Body is like, it still wasn't even about the food or even necessarily my body per se. It was just like, when you're living in this disordered way, you don't even realize there's a whole other world out there and how much better your life can be, because everything seems like it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a lot of courage to do that, to be done, And so I just want to acknowledge that that's just pretty amazing in and of itself. And so tell me, like, what were some of the stepping stones that you went through along the way that helped you to change?
In Rock Your Body, the biggest stepping stone for me was understanding the voice of my inner critic or your doppelganger.
Yes.
That was huge. When I understood that I didn't have to shut her up, that she needed some compassion, and figuring out a way to give myself that compassion, which was a combination of doing it with Rock Your Body. And then I did a couple EFT sessions which is really weird. I'm not one of those, I'm not sort of into that energy work, but somehow it was just this connection. I was able to connect with this inner child and like, oh my God, I get where so much of this is coming from now. And so it's just that deeper understanding. That was huge. And then
what did that help you be able to do? How did that make you feel, or what changed for you?
When I had discomfort with my body, when I when I was reacting to something in kind of a way that seemed unusual, like why am I all of a sudden hyper aware of my body, or why am I taking this person's criticism so much, or why am I so scared of gaining weight, or it was like being able to understand what childhood experience had led to that feeling, and then being able to say to myself, it's okay because we aren't there anymore. And I'm so sorry that you went through that. And I'm so sorry that you dealt with, XYZ, but we're here and we got this. Like, to me, it was just like explaining to a child, it was like, we're okay. We can deal with this. This is a whole new situation and I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's amazing. Yeah, I know that's one of like the fundamental components, is just changing that talk and like being able to separate those two parts of your brain and start to take direction and listen to that other one. So that's really cool that had such a big impact on you.
Yeah. And there was another exercise, I think it was closer to the end, that had a pretty big impact when you were supposed to sort of envision your future self.
Yeah.
And that one too, when I listened to her, I sort of started to really understand what was important to me. And when I looked at myself as this older woman and kind of envisioned where I was living and everything, it was just like, okay, I get what she wants and I get what she sees as important. And that's sort of where I started to see these are the things that are really important to me.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so what did that give you?
It gave me a sense of focus in sort of being able to say, maybe this isn't as important as I thought it was. Do you know what I mean? So maybe being liked I think it helped me really focus on maybe being liked isn't as important, but being someone that made a difference is important.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
So yeah, so just like, I remember when I was leaving my old job, one of the girls said to me, you're a really good supervisor. I've never had a supervisor like you before. And I was like, I was never particularly easygoing on this girl or friendly. I was tough on her, but I think it was like she respected me. She respected me because I had done something for her to develop her that other people hadn't done. So it's like, it's not about being liked. It's about making a difference or giving someone something new for themselves.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And what were some of the other highlights for you? Like I know the promotion was a big one.
Yeah. But I just like, I kind of, I lost a lot of fear around doing stuff. Like I applied for jobs that I never would have applied for. I had the most difficult conversations with people. I just like, I feel like I was just able to have difficult conversations with my staff or with my husband or not so much with my family yet, but that's okay. Just
Baby steps.
baby steps. Actually, and that's not true. I had a very difficult conversation with my mother that needed to happen. Just that it didn't matter anymore that people liked me. It mattered that I was being true to myself and I was acting with integrity and the values that were important to me. And so never intentionally hurting anyone and always owning it. But, this is what I need to do. And if you don't like what I have to say, unfortunately, this is what I need to do. This is my job, or this is what I need to do for me, depending on who I was talking to. So
yeah, what's that been like for you?
I sleep better at night. It's so weird to have a conversation with someone and be able to truly identify that you lived your values and you don't second guess yourself as much. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's times that of course you still go over things in your head but yeah, it was just like, I know that I did this for the right reasons with the right intentions and I was true to myself. And so, and I never thought about, well, because before I used to think, well, it doesn't really matter what I do as long as I'm thin. And now I'm like, no, it matters what I do and who I am, that I'm true to myself, not what my body looks like. I can do that however my body looks,
That's so cool. Yeah. I know for you, so much of it was around, overcoming fear, gaining confidence, and, working through any kind of self-doubt.
Yeah. That self-doubt piece was huge. And it was like, I guess in some ways when I went into treatment and all that, I lost that shield that I had, because your eating disorder shields you from so much. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, just having to really build back that confidence, and it really helped me do that.
Yeah. So if you had to summarize, like, what did you get out of this program?
I just got a whole new outlook on life, a whole new outlook on what I bring to the world. And yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. A whole new outlook on what I bring to the world. I bring me to the world. I don't bring my body to the world.
Oh my God. You need to go on a meme with that one. That's beautiful.
I think it's just more confidence in who I am. And I've heard all of, you kind of podcasters say, like, yeah, of course there's days where you're still not 100% comfortable with how you look, or your hair is bad, or like, ugh, these pants were tight. But it's like, okay, but like, move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's still, I'm still moving on. I'm still a journey. It's not like everything's perfect, but it's like, it's just so much easier to be me now.
Oh my God, that's so cool. So what's it like to be you now?
I go into so many situations like more confident. Like I don't walk around in this cloud of self-doubt. And so when I'm authentic with people, or I just feel more confident. I don't doubt myself. It's so much more comfortable to be in that place.
What does that feel like?
It feels relaxing. It feels like you're grounded too. It feels just sort of like a bit more natural, and life is less exhausting. So
yeah, it's like a huge weight gets lifted.
Exactly. And so even at work at this new job, like there's like 70 people work there and trying to learn all their names. But it's like, it's okay. I can just be like, oh, I'm just still trying to learn people's names. I'm so sorry. What's your name again? I'm like, that's totally okay. Whereas before I would have been like, oh my God, I have to remember everyone's name. What kind of person am I? Well, at least I'm thin, so it doesn't matter if I forget your name because, like, so
Wow.
not about that. It's just,
Right.
but I can be authentic and be like, I'm really sorry I don't remember your name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you seem just so much more comfortable, confident, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you've just been killing it. Like, like you said, going after the jobs or having these difficult conversations, and I just think it's amazing to see how far you've come through this, and you really put yourself into it though. I mean, you did all the work, like you
Yeah.
really committed to it, and so that shows, and I'm just so honored that I get to be a part of this transformation.
Well, it's been amazing and it was so cool. It was so cool to do it. And the women too, like the other women that were in the group were so helpful too. And just hearing what they did and sort of learning from them was really helpful as well.
It's a good group, isn't
So it
it?
was a great group. Yeah.
And it will
Yeah.
continue to
Yeah,
be.
we'll continue. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, man, like people are getting married and people are having babies and it's like, oh, it's so neat. Like we're part of their lives. And there's one woman that lives just in more further northern Alberta and we're like, oh, we're gonna have to meet when you come to town. And yeah, it's
Yes.
really cool.
Yes, Carolyn.
Carolyn, yeah.
I interviewed her too, so she'll be a
Oh,
part of this
cool.
as well. Yes.
Cool.
Well, that's amazing. Do you have any advice for people listening today?
I think just trust the process. Like just if you if you think everything's okay, but you're still stuck in that diet cycle, everything's not okay. Like life can be so much better if you're not obsessed about food and your body.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just do it and just do it with an open heart.
Beautiful. Perfect. Thank you
Cool.
so much for being here,
Thank you.
Courtney.
I can't believe what an impact you've made on my life. So thank you so
Oh
much.
my God, you're amazing. Thank you. And rock on.
Rock on.